Hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and you're about to listen to a love and relationship hypnosis session all about feeling worthy of having a good relationship and love. And I was working with a client that, because of her early experiences where they felt used and exploited, they had a very high standard before they would let someone get too close. And what that did is it meant that they could filter out those people that weren't that interested. But equally, they had a fear of being either rejected or abandoned. Or what they would do is, after a while, after that initial period, their validation, their self-worth was dependent on the person that they're with. And that can happen to a lot of people, where rather than valuing yourself and valuing the relationship, if your value is dependent on being seen with or known with or being attached to that particular person, that can form an element of dependency and attachment, which can lead to bad decision-making and tolerating things that might not be for the greater good. Now, because this had happened and was a pattern across many relationships, this hypnosis session starts with letting go of emotional baggage. And there's a metaphor of feeling the weight of all of those things like rejection, abandonment, anxiety, sadness, betrayal, all of those things, letting go of that. And then imagining meeting themselves where they are fully worthy of love. And it's that worthiness which we're priming, so they get a sense that if they have that full worthiness of love, how would their criteria change? What would they accept and what wouldn't they accept? And sometimes there is this push and pull dynamic in relationships. Someone might have a really high standard, but equally be terrified of that commitment, in which case they might create an element of distance. And that might be long distance relationships. It might be emotional distance. These patterns can play out, which ensure the variety of you try a relationship, it doesn't work out, you end, and then you find a new relationship. And I've worked with some clients that unconsciously that's what they want. They don't want that stable thing forever. They just want to have something new, and this guarantees that cycle continues. This client did not want that. What they wanted is something stable, something secure, but part of their pattern to keep them safe was sabotaging the very thing that they wanted. So if you can relate or resonate with any of these themes or ideas, you might get some value from this session. And if you want something created just for you, have a look at my website or in the description. And the website is adamcox.co.uk. And the description, if you click more info or more details, close to this episode, you should be able to see lots of resources that are free, and you can find out how to work with me there. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be distracted or disturbed. Relax and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a wonderful feeling of calm. And as you exhale, feel a wonderful feeling of release. Breathing in relaxation and exhaling tension. And just allow your breath to represent the feeling of waves rolling in and then receding into the sea. And I wonder if you could imagine what it would feel like to be on a sandy beach in Costa Rica, under blue skies and sunshine. And perhaps you could imagine a day not of big waves, but small waves, rising and falling. That's it. Just allow your eyelids to get heavier, your jaw to become loose. Each breath takes you deeper and deeper relaxed. That's it. And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you feel. And the more relaxed you feel, the deeper you breathe. And I wonder if you could imagine keeping your physical body there, and just imagine somewhere nearby to that beach are cliffs overlooking the ocean. Even if they didn't exist in reality, you can create them in your imagination. And just allow your conscious mind to float off into a deep sleep there on the beach. And imagine what it would be like to be up on the cliff tops, looking down at you on the beach and the ocean below. And I want you to imagine holding 2 empty suitcases, one in each hand, there on the cliff tops. And you know they're empty because they're light. But as you breathe in and breathe out, we're going to fill those suitcases with the emotional baggage of the past. Because sometimes emotions stay inside for moments that have long since passed. And I want you to scan your body for any feelings of hurt, any emotional pain, any betrayal, any pain that comes from deceit. And for some people it's lurking in their heart or their gut or deep in their solar plexus. And I want you to imagine when you identify it, you can move it. And just imagine that pain, that hurt moving from wherever it is down your arms into the suitcases. And feel the suitcases getting heavier and heavier. And then I want you to scan your body for any anger. Maybe it's the anger of something that should have happened and didn't. Maybe anger directed at yourself or someone else. And sometimes anger is in the jaw or in the pit of the gut. Wherever it is, start to move that anger from you down into those suitcases, feeling them get heavier and heavier. That's it. And then scan your body for any regret. And there are 2 main regrets. The regret of not doing something you wish you did, or doing something you wish you didn't. And sometimes that regret can feel like unfinished business. Sometimes it links to guilt or shame. Locate it and move it down into the suitcases as they feel heavier and heavier. I want you to scan your body now for any feelings of frustration. Move it from your body into the suitcases. Because frustration left unresolved can turn into hopelessness or helplessness. A feeling of why bother, what's the point? Not again. So find that frustration and any early signs of hopelessness or helplessness. Move it from your body into the suitcases. There on the top of that cliffside. And notice how heavy those suitcases are feeling now? Filled with that emotional baggage. And what if these emotions are leading your mind to protect you in ways that feel helpful, but actually create more of exactly what you don't want? Everyone knows someone whose heart's in the right place, but whenever they try to help, they make things worse. And what if that was happening inside you? A part of you trying to help, but in helping in the way that it's helping, impedes your ability to find what you truly desire. And I want you to imagine your body is now searching for anything else, any emotions, beliefs, any blocks that are getting in the way of you feeling worthy to have what you truly desire. Any of those blocks, echoes of emotions, move them from you into the bags and feel just how heavy those bags are now. And at the point where your unconscious mind is willing to extract all the wisdom from the past, but let go of the emotions and the emotional baggage, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to feel how liberated you feel to not just drop the bags over the edge of the cliff, but hurl them into the ocean. Not just one, but both. And when you've imagined hurling the suitcases into the ocean, but keeping all of the wisdom and none of the pain, no regret, no resentment, just let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine that you feel lighter because all those heavy emotions are no longer there. And I want you to imagine we're going to replace the void of those heavy emotions that you've let go of with something much more useful. I want you to replace them with two key emotions: worthiness and self-love. Because the moment the love comes from you, you can want it from others but not need it. And the moment you feel worthy, you're not dependent on putting someone else on a pedestal to give you a sense of worth. I want you to imagine a color that represents worthiness and a color that represents self-love. And imagine breathing those colors in. Feel like it's charging up the power bank that was depleted. And I want you to imagine every time you breathe in, you're breathing in pure self-love, pure worthiness. And when your unconscious feels that you can say with 100% truth and certainty that you are worthy and you love yourself unconditionally, then let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And now you have this. In the same way that a candle can light another candle without losing its own flame, I want you to feel that now is the time to go back to a memory. And each time you listen to this, you can go back to a different memory. But for now, think of one time, either right before or just after a relationship. And when there's a memory coming to mind, and you remember your age and location back then, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to imagine floating back to that memory at that point in time, but almost with X-ray vision so you can evaluate how much self-love and worthiness that version of you had at that point in time. And if from this perspective you can feel that part of you was trying to get the love or the feeling of self-worth from the relationship itself, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And I want you to listen to that younger version of you. Tell them they are worthy, whether they are in a relationship or not. They are worthy of love. They are worthy of attention, of connection. And I want you to imagine that feeling that you have now of 100% worthiness and self-love. You can give it to that version of you. You can charge their power bank. And then imagine what would have happened if that version of you had all of that self-love, all of that worthiness, that you didn't need it from the relationship. You could have liked it, desired it, wanted it, but not needed it. And just observe, like an invisible observer, seeing what would have happened back in the past if that version of you didn't need the validation, the affection, the attention from that individual. You had more than enough within. Maybe you can see how the power dynamic shifted, how your boundaries became stronger, how your discernment changed naturally. And if it seems like that version of you from the past with this 100% worthiness and self-love was able to subtly do things differently to increase the probability of more of what you wanted and less of what you didn't, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And tell that younger version of you that you are proud of them. They are desirable. Tell that version of them that they don't need to fight to be needed. Tell that younger version of you that for the right person, they will make the effort not to jump through hoops, but because they desire to be with you. Empower that version of you to be discerning and open, to be trusting but not naive, and to feel that you want love without ever being dependent on it. Give that younger version of you a hug. Tell them wonderful things are in their future. And then float back to the top of the cliffs, seeing the suitcases floating off into the ocean. Feeling light, feeling worthy, feeling infinite self-love from within. And as you walk back down to the beach to reconnect with that other version of you, I want you to feel a rising sense of optimism and a rising sense of positivity. That whatever changes are required to increase the probability of getting what you truly desire will come to you in insights, epiphanies, and sudden realizations, either instantly or over the next few days. Like a penny dropping, it will be obvious. Something new to do, a new boundary, a new way of thinking. And as you hold that thought, return back to that version of you sleeping on the beach. And then leave the beach and feel it's time to return to the present, leaving all of that baggage behind, retaining all of the wisdom, but returning with full self-worth and self-love. As I shortly count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.